Right, our next section is a series of case studies from producers, and I'd like to introduce our first case study, Scott Michael. Thanks, Scott.
Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be chatting about telemetry and pastoral rangelands. We've been using telemetry water monitoring systems for over 10 years now. The first telemetry I purchased was homemade, consisted of a solar panel with a 12-volt phone charger using an app on a phone. I would send the phone a text message using the app. The phone would take a photo of a manual tank level sensor and send it back to me. Sometimes when I texted the camera, the image wouldn't come back due to poor coverage. Being a second-hand phone, homemade, it died after about 18 months. When chatting to another pastoralist nearby, they told me they were using the Alpha Group on their mains meters, and that's when I got in contact with Shane Oster and progressed from there, from the Alpha Group. So, summary of our situation. Our property currently runs 20,000 sheep and is 1,600 square kilometres in the northwest pastoral. The station is split into approximately 35 paddocks. All these paddocks are watered by tanks, troughs, with a minimum of 1 watering point, and some paddocks having up to 5 watering points. Some paddocks have access to surface water, being dams. Our water supply is a combination of dams, wells, bores, and have several mains meters into the SA water pipeline as well. Most of these dams, wells, bores and mains meters are connected into over 150 kilometres of pipelines via solar pumps, windmills and diesel pumps. These pump into tanks and feed into water troughs for stock. We've done this when all our dams have gone dry. We can still have permanent water, whether it being underground, mains water, in every paddock. We try and use the terrain of our property to our advantage by pumping water to high points with storage tanks so that they will gravity feed onto tanks with troughs. Once these storage tanks fill up, the solar pumps will shut down under pressure switch, and diesel pumps will either shut down on a time or run out of fuel. As we are well aware, every bit of water you use, you want to know where it's going, hopefully into your stock troughs and not flooding or grading down a road. So before telemetry, the scheduled water run would occur twice a week. Each run would take over a full day and 250 kilometres. After going past several tanks and troughs and checked all the header tanks, now you know how much diesel you'll need to put into a pump to fill everything back up. If no issues, everything should be okay for the next 3 or 4 days. 3 days past, it's Friday morning, you've come across 1,000 thirsty sheep. The pump started 3 days ago, has just run down the road due to a burst pipe. The plans for your weekend's fishing trip is now in doubt due to monitoring several thousand sheep and tanks over the weekend trying to fill everything back up. The following week it puts doubt into your mind on your pipeline system, so you often end up doing several unnecessary trips and checking things after hours, making sure every bit of water you're pumping is going to where you want it to go. Trying to fill tanks and catch up during a heat wave isn't much fun, as we're all aware. You're busy with shearing. The last thing you want to do before going home is drive out 50 k's and check some tanks to see if you need to start a pump. If those tanks are empty, drive another 30 kilometres to the pump. Then the following night you drive past those tanks and they're still empty. So instead of planning your day for tomorrow, you're running around at night checking pipelines and looking for leaks. The benefits we've found using telemetry is very cheap insurance, cost saving and a huge peace of mind. We use tank level sensors, flow meters on mains meters and pipelines. We currently have 14 systems in place and still expanding. Why so little when we have so many tanks and pipelines, you're probably wondering. Most of our telemetry systems are used on header tanks and mains meters or on the odd standalone tank and trough. Header tanks being the highest point in the pipeline system last to fill up. We chose this system because we have over 70 tanks and 100 stock troughs, not including the header tanks. Before the header tanks are out of water, we plan to start the pump and set an alert that comes through via text message those tanks are filling up, or can log online and check as well. You become familiar with patterns and daily usage through flow meters and tank levels. I have high and low tank alerts and high usage. These alarms come through via text to let us know the level of water in a tank has dropped below or gone above a level being set. Example, filling above 1 metres or tank's gone below 0.5 metres. Flow meters will have zeroed out, you would hope will have zeroed out overnight when nothing is watering or down to a very low usage per hour. If low usage during the last 24-hour period could be because of a thunderstorm, something's died in a trough, and high usage is obviously a leak. I get a daily report every morning via text and email, and I can log in any time to check the flows and tank level charts. Once I receive that text message of the previous day's summary, I can plan my day or get hold of staff to sort that issue out while fishing off the beach or getting ready for the following day at the cricket. The peace of mind went away is worth every cent. Some mornings I've jumped on a motorbike or in a ute straight after checking my phone because the text of yesterday's summary is showing something out of the ordinary. Could be a very large volume of water has gone down, out of mains meter, or those tanks are still empty after starting a pump yesterday morning. When you've got mains meters or a diesel pump going with pressures over 100 psi, you could easily have over 50,000 litres of water go down a road in a 24-hour period. Been fortunate enough to have a decent rain overnight and puddles everywhere. You don't have to worry about checking waters for a week. Wrong, a cow stood in a pipe in the mud and cracked it, and all of a sudden you've got a bigger puddle in the paddock. It's an expensive puddle, police found within 24 hours when everything else is dried up. With tank level sensors, I already know how much water is in those header tanks, so I can drive straight to the pump. I could have staff working there during the day, so I can get them to start it. When pumping water into tanks with diesel pumps, things you don't want is a pump shutting down due to a mechanical issue, burst pipes or overflowing tanks. Instead of worrying about these issues, you can monitor online anywhere as long as you've got internet coverage. And because we're only collecting data and not an image, you need minimal service to get these systems to work. We still do twice a week water runs during the summer due to our complex watering system we have on our property. But we can get onto other tasks in between because of that peace of mind. Or if you don't get to a tank on a particular day, you've got enough reinsurance, you'll be okay for another day or two. Tips I'll give before purchasing telemetry. If you collect data, don't just glance at the text message. You might overlook a problem. You end up looking at patterns with your tank levels and stuff like that and your daily usages as well. Make sure you read all the levels correctly or jump online. You can refer to yesterday's message or look back at previous texts for those similarities and patterns usage. There are several products on the market, so setting up from you. Use what will best suit your situation, whether being data, images or videos. There are several products on the market, there are also so many options on the market with Wi-Fi cameras, remote starting of pumps, rain gauges, just to list a few. Talk to the people who are selling the products and to your neighbours who might be using telemetry. Think about what you want there at that watering system. If it's just a basic summary how much water is in the tank, satellite or 3G might be the answer. Monitoring with cameras can be great, give you Wi-Fi to black spots. Also find out what backup support is available before purchasing. If it's a camera or Wi-Fi system, you might need to wait for a technician to come to site to resolve the issue. If it's the data, an instrument can be posted and replaced by yourself. Data works well in our situation, but I do have properties where I've considered jumping Wi-Fi about. We're still expanding our telemetry system, and yeah, thanks for your time.